At the 2025 BET Awards, Doechii won Best Female Hip Hop Artist. But instead of going on stage and thanking God or her family or TikTok for her big success, she instead took the opportunity to give a powerful speech about standing up for the oppressed people of not only this country, but the entire world, and standing up against the ruthless attacks from the Trump administration, which is deploying the military to quell protests, mostly in LA, against a new wave of ICE raids and deportations.
Let's watch this video of her speech.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I do want to address what's happening right now outside of the building. There are ruthless attacks that are creating fear and chaos in our communities in the name of law and order. Trump is using military forces to stop a protest. And I want y'all to consider what kind.
There wasn't as many, like, that was like a pause for clap that didn't really elicit a whole lot of clapping.
She's not a great public speaker.
Kind of government it appears to be when every time we exercise our democratic right to protest, the military is deployed against us.
Yes, every time.
What type of government is that?
Good question.
People are being swept up and torn from their families, and I feel it's my responsibility as an artist to use this moment to speak up for all oppressed people, for Black people, for Latino people, for trans people, for the people in Gaza. We all deserve to live in hope and not in fear, and I hope we stand together, my brothers and my sisters, against hate, and we protest against it. Thank you, BT.
Okay, I'm gonna just, before we get into the discussion, then what we got was a post from Homeland Security about the protests. Let's just watch and see what's going on down there.
We're at this point, this has been very peaceful, Brian. It has been tense at some points, but we haven't seen any violence happening here.
Large group of people, it could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
So given the point where it has escalated to, do you think the National Guard is needed now?
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm. I will tell you that I'm saddened by the extent of the vandalism in the form of graffiti all through the downtown area.
Great stuff.
There was other video. I mean, there's been so many videos over the last couple of days.
You can see protesters finding rocks to throw at fans. Oh my gosh.
I certainly can't understand why you would involve any type of government.
Yeah, this looks totally peaceful, respectful. Nothing to see here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, things are quiet.
It's very
just
quiet.
a normal day in
control.
LA. Sunny skies. People hanging out, chilling on the beach. Normal LA stuff.
Yeah, it's nobody's ever explained to me when protest becomes riot. Like, I don't know if CNN has like a bar that they set for when a protest becomes a riot. But they use the terms interchangeably in that they never actually say riot. They say protest for everything. But this is your quintessential celebrity speaking about something. I'm waiting for the day when a celebrity's like, I believe it is my duty as a celebrity to not give a shit about y'all and only care about myself. It would be more honest.
I definitely didn't pin Doechii as a public intellectual.
Yeah.
She really, I underestimated her.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, they had to brief the president on the situation? Like, Mr. President, Doechii's condemned you from the BET Awards. And he's like, no.
We have to stop.
End this. Send in the Marines. I'm sick of this.
I did notice that there wasn't as much clapping as for the part about protests as there was at the end when she gives the generic statement about, you know, everybody standing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when she got more granular with the issue, they didn't care as much.
Because she's too high IQ for the crowd.
Yeah, she's clearly on a higher intellectual caliber than the rest of the room.
Mm-hmm.
This is the hottest take I've seen so far. Trump is insulting the LAPD to suggest they can't handle this relatively small incident. Wow.
Incident.
They were like, you have little dick energy.
Not the industry plant put on stage to lecture people about how they should accept their cities being burned down. No one loves Mexico like the people who refuse to live there.
So true.
Another fan of hers said Doechii is not only a talented rapper, she's an activist, and that's what makes her a legend.
Yeah, that part was crazy. I was like, am I the only one who has like an irrational hatred for anybody who would actually want to insult themselves and call themselves an activist?
This is exactly how to use your platform, speaking out against injustice in a room full of people that can share the same message with their platforms.
I saw those cars burning, and the first thing I thought about was how much they care about climate change.
Also, like, the idea with the platforms, like, there's somebody out there that had no idea what was going on in like, Gaza, and then they see that they're watching the BET Awards, and they're like, wait a
Holy
second.
shit, I gotta look into that!
Whoa!
The only good use of an award show ceremony speech was Ricky Gervais at the 2020 Golden Globes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like, it's never going to happen again because he did it. They're going to make sure there's never a monologue like his again at one of these award shows, but
I like it better when it's a complete mismatch of the host and the award show, like when Sebastian Maniscalco hosted the Kids' Choice Awards, and it's like 12-year-olds, and he's up there like, when you go to like the DMV, and it's like and they're all just sitting there like, can we slime this guy? Like.
Then there was also Tyler Perry dunking on Kanye and Diddy at the BET Awards, which was passe, not very funny. Some people said that Nikki Glaser kind of took up the Ricky Gervais mantle at the Golden Globes this past year. That was back in January, I believe.
Gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago.
It does, doesn't it? But even her monologue wasn't as edgy. Didn't really touch those
just by
taboos.
virtue of being on the mainstream platform, it kind of neuters it from being any type of actual bit of intellectual commentary on celebrities.
Well, and the Gervais thing wasn't even necessarily what he said, but it was the reactions of the celebrities. When
right. They were not laughing.
Tom Hanks like seething.
Exactly.
Well, because all the hosts are afraid of getting slapped now. They didn't know that was on the table.
And Nikki Glaser, she was just making like jokes about Ozempic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really
Which probably cuts more than the Epstein thing for some of those people.
I did like the one tweet where Gavin Newsom's like, joke's on you, this video's from 2020.
When I was also governor.
And somebody's like, Justin, Gavin Newsom wants you to know that this wasn't when his city was burning down in 2025, it was when his city was burning down in 2020. These are the quintessential half the reason channels like this exist is because of comments like this from celebrities, which nobody actually likes, and the stands on the internet maybe the only ones who have any type of enjoyment from this type of commentary, which the average person does not. But if you're still watching award shows, you're probably down with this type of stuff because normal people don't watch award shows anymore.
Right. Their ratings have sunk at least since around 2018. They're not comparable to where their viewership was at before.
I will say that I tend to be very wary about the amount of input we put into our brains these days because of the media and because of news. Certainly, I had a tweet yesterday that was like the human mind was not designed to absorb the instant news cycle. But incidents like this are exactly why you need the instant news cycle, because if it wasn't for the people on the ground posting videos about what's happening, you would be stuck with the same narrative that was going on, back in the day before you had access to people that weren't like, imagine if we were living in a time period now where there wasn't people with their own cameras and their own phones recording what was going on, and you have Doechii telling you that look, there's nothing. Look, it was an overwhelming, excessive show of force from the government, and there wasn't like somebody with an iPhone filming 3 Waymos burning.
Yeah.
Not that I give a crap about Waymos, but like your tax dollars paid for that, right?
That's
stand
the
with Waymo.
Silver lining in it all is that at least the proof is out there.
But here's what you could do right now is like, now is the time. What I always wanted to see is like in the superhero movies, whenever there's the big battle and then the city gets destroyed. The first thing I would be doing when I saw that was I'd start investing in construction companies.
Yeah.
So that I could start, I want to be on the ground floor.
Well, there's always
like whenever they have to rebuild the city afterwards.
Yeah, because there's always the point of like how cheap is rent in Marvel's New York, because it gets like a doomsday every 5 years.
Well, no, it's the thing. It's a critique of capitalism. Like, wait, so I have to like my home gets burned down every 5 years and rent is too high.
What's the
that
sell from the
happened
realtor?
Following the wildfires in LA. There were people buying up the real estate, just the land where these houses burned down.
Yeah.
So they were ambulance chasing. But I don't know if this is a PR move on the part of the Trump administration, because it's a TikTok star. This TikToker named KB Lame is now detained by ICE for overstaying the terms of his visa and is now being deported back to his home country of Italy.
Yes, I did see this. He got really big in 2020. That was like his time to shine.
I never saw his content.
So basically, he would show you. You ever see the videos where somebody does something overly complicated and make a TikTok out of it? My favorite is though. I just saw one yesterday where they put spaghetti like if you like when in your fridge you've got the 2 drawers.
Yeah.
Like usually you put sodas in there. You put it like in one drawer he put spaghetti noodles, in the other drawer he put spaghetti sauce, and then he'd go and
Dip
put
it.
and like put them in both in the thing. What he would do is he'd take videos like that which show like ridiculously stupid or complicated things, and then he'd just show you the easy way to do it, and then he'd just point at it like this.
He would just go like that.
That was his whole thing.
True talent.
No, I mean if talent means getting on the ground floor of a good idea.
Well, that's why Marco Rubio should have like an immigration form in front of him and do that.
Yeah, I mean, people have already made that. That like it was like refiling for an extension of your visa, that.
Literally.
The only thing that could be worse is if they deported the dude who did the video on the longboard with the Fleetwood Mac song playing in the ocean in the cranberry juice.
That would be sad.
Because that guy ended up making a lot of money and buying a home out of that.
Right.
I love that guy. That guy was awesome.
Good dude.
After that incident, the parking lot of like the local high school was just full of cranberry juice.
Nice.
Because you'd have to use it so people would just longboard through there.
There was an op from
shoot
Ocean
content.
Water.
I have a question. Do you think that a celebrity can earn legend status to have more leeway for activist statements like this?
Yep. But it's not legend status. It's just goodwill.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I mean. They're saying Doechii is a legend because she's an activist, and most people don't know who Doechii is.
Yeah.
To the vast majority of people, they've never heard of her. They might have heard her song Anxiety on TikTok, but she's not famous. At least not yet. She's not mainstream.
I can't even give you an unbiased answer to that because I will hate it either way.
Yeah.
But,
But some people do get a pass.
Yeah, they do.
Well, there's people, I mean, it's just because when you think activism, you think like left wing, but there's plenty of actors that their legend status is built because of their philanthropy, or like, like Rob Schneider does all like the Tunnels of Towers stuff. I think it's Rob Schneider does that. And it's like, yeah, there's a few of those guys that they build goodwill up through we'd say activism, but like the actual definition of activism.
John Cena is like the #1 Make-A-Wish granter of all time.
Yeah.
Like there was great memes made when he turned into a bad guy where he just like slapped down the Make-A-Wish kid because he's a bad guy now.
But that was the kid's Make-A-Wish, right?
Well, he didn't actually do that. They were making like AI videos of what it would be like if heel John Cena
he just snaps one day.
He just snaps on him. But
I'm doing this for free.
Yeah. So, for someone like Doechii, it's on brand because it's music, and the musicians tend to be more activists these days. Think of like Kalani is very much an activist, and
really,
and a lot of the women fall in the lines.
Are the musicians more annoying than the actors?
If not activists, they fall in the lines of intersectional politics.
They have less of an opportunity to politicize their work.
Yeah,
because I think in music, you just have less ideological real estate than a TV show or a movie.
Yeah, but even the actors aren't the ones doing that. It's the writers making the ideological content on TV. The actors just sign up to go and do it.
Well, they used to actually deliver the activism through the music. Like you think of like Clarence Clearwater Revival, and you hear their music now and it's like patriotic, but like in the 60s they were like edgy liberals.
I mean,
Gen Z is listening to Creed and Nickelback now.
Yeah. But it's like stuff like that where it's like
Doechii.
Now Doechii, I mean, what is she gonna do? Work in like a critique of the Marine deployment in her song? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, and then you get, or no, think about like all the people who are like, you don't understand Rage Against the Machine. They're like, no, I understand the music.
Yeah.
They're just lame now.
Right.
Like, it's just not the same now. Or Bruce Springsteen is another one who gets kind of lumped in there because of how people interpret Born in the USA.
Yeah.
So, maybe those boomers just didn't have any media literacy, which is the only group of people I hate more than activists are the media literacy crowd. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.